Hey, this isn't a soup kitchen, old man. The voice rang out across the job fair floor. Heads turned. Conversation stopped. A security guard stormed toward an elderly man standing near a booth labeled Transition Support for Combat Vets. The man looked stunned. His shoulders hunched slightly, like he'd just been slapped. He wore an old leather bomber jacket, patches faded with time. In his hand was a slim folder, worn at the edges. He hadn't said a word in 5 minutes, just nodded. Listened, offered a quiet smile to the young Marine talking to him. A crowd started forming. You got no badge, no company rep status, nothing. The guard snapped. You're not supposed to be here. I'm not selling anything. The old man said, voice low. Just giving advice. Been doing it for a while. Yeah? The guard scoffed. Well, now you're done. The Marine next to the old man stepped forward. Hey, he's not bothering anyone. The guard cut him off. Back off, sir. This man is trespassing. He grabbed the old man by the elbow, not violently, but firmly enough to make a point. Phones came out. A photo was snapped. Someone muttered, Geez, just let him be. The old man didn't resist. He straightened his back, pulled his elbow gently away, and looked the guard in the eye. You don't have to touch me. Then walk out. Now. He walked toward the exit. Slowly. No shouting, no explanation. Just silence, and dozens of eyes following him. Some pitied him. Others looked annoyed. A few whispered. The Marine who had been talking to him took a step after, then stopped. Who was that guy? Someone said. The guard shrugged. Just some old dude trying to score a free lunch. No one argued. Not yet. Nguyen Trần lived in a quiet corner of Chula Vista, in a single-story home with peeling paint and a flagpole out front. The American flag flew above a smaller one, a yellow and red striped banner with 3 red stars, South Vietnam. Old colors. Inside, the house was spotless. No television, no photos on the walls. Just books and binders. Dozens of them. Each binder was neatly labeled with a name and a date. Vice, Adam, 2008. Jefferson, Carla, 2012. Torres, Ramon, 2015. Inside each one were letters, resumes, discharge papers, therapy referrals, court documents, stories of broken soldiers who had come home and didn't know what to do next. Stories of arrests, addictions, panic attacks. And then, notes. Handwritten notes in tight, clean script. Spoke to mother. Referred to housing program. Sent resume to county transit job. He didn't advertise this work. Never posted online. Never told neighbors. He just kept showing up job fairs. Virginia clinics. Group meetings. He wasn't poor. His army pension and government salary had been enough. But he never bought anything he didn't need. Just folders. And gas money. The folder he carried at the fair had 3 fresh resumes inside, 2 young soldiers he'd met last week, and 1 blank intake form for the Marine from earlier. His phone buzzed once. A text from a local paper. Comment on your removal from vet job fair. He didn't respond. He muted the phone and returned to the binder on his desk. A new name needed help. Another soldier trying to come home. He flipped to a clean page. Wrote just 1 word at the top. Jake. By morning, the photo was everywhere. An elderly man in a bomber jacket. A security guard gripping his arm. The caption underneath. Old guy kicked out of veteran job fair. Grandpa looking for free pens? It hit Reddit first. Then Facebook. Twitter. TikTok. People laughed. Bet he's not even a vet. Who let homeless folks in? Sad. Someone take his keys. By lunch, local news picked it up. The job fair's organizer gave a short interview. We support all veterans. But for safety, only pre-registered participants with credentials are allowed. This man was not cleared to be there. Minder. Plax. Minder. For Ming's. End of. 2-0. End of N. The backlash was fast, but not the kind anyone expected. Not sympathy. Not outrage. Just more mockery. Meanwhile, Nguyen Trần said nothing. He saw the comments. Read some. Ignored most. Then he turned off the router and got back to work. But someone else didn't ignore it. Captain Matt Riley, USMC, had been at the job fair that day. He'd noticed the man. The calm way he stood. How the younger vets leaned in when he spoke. And that name, Nguyen Trần, it stuck in his head. He knew it. But from where? That night, curiosity became something else. He ran a search through restricted veteran service records, and then he froze. Nguyen Trần, former Lieutenant Colonel, U.S. Army, 23 years active duty, founding architect of the Post-Deployment Reintegration Protocol, policy advisor to multiple administrations, over 10,000 documented case interventions. He wasn't just a veteran. He had helped build the modern veteran transition system, the very process Riley himself had used when returning from Afghanistan. Riley stood up, paced, then picked up the phone. He called Washington, directly. At the Pentagon, Secretary of Veterans Affairs Linda Graham sat silently as Captain Riley finished explaining. She didn't speak right away. Just turned to her screen and typed in the name, Nguyen Trần. The system loaded slowly. His file wasn't in the public archive, it was buried. Civilian service records, internal memos, letters of commendation, a photograph, Lieutenant Colonel, Trần saluting General Schwarzkopf. Another, briefing with President Reagan. Another, walking beside wounded troops at Walter Reed. Her expression hardened. Why the hell was he even standing alone? She muttered. An hour later, her office scheduled a press briefing. Reporters arrived expecting a boring update about budget allocations. Instead, Graham walked to the podium with fire in her eyes. This is not just a story about a man removed from a job fair, she said. It's a story about forgetting who built the ground we walk on. Behind her, the projector lit up. Photo after photo, Lieutenant Colonel Trần in uniform, in field hospitals, in war zones, in hearings. Screenshots of policy documents bearing his signature. A spreadsheet showing over 10,000 successful veteran reintegrations. The room went dead quiet. For over 30 years, Graham said, this man volunteered to guide soldiers home. Not for pay, not for attention, but because he never stopped serving. She paused, then added, and we all of us let him walk out that door, in silence. By nightfall, every major outlet had corrected the story. CNN called him the architect of reintegration. Military Times ran the headline, the man who was always there until we forgot. Even the job fair's organizers issued an apology. The original photo post vanished, replaced by threads of gratitude and shame. And Nguyen Trần? He stayed home. He didn't answer calls. He just cleaned the living room, sharpened his pencil, and added another page to Jake's file. 1 week later, the same convention center held a follow-up veteran job fair. This time, things were different. At the front entrance, a new banner stretched across the glass doors, honoring Lieutenant Colonel Nguyen Trần, pioneer of veteran reintegration. Inside, the layout had changed. Between booths from Boeing, Raytheon, and the VA, a new table had been set up. Its sign was simple: Peer Transition Mentorship Dept. Of Veterans Affairs. Senior Advisor, Lieutenant Colonel, Ret. Nguyen Trần. Nguyen stood quietly behind the table. Same bomber jacket. Same leather folder, though this one looked newer. A fresh VA badge hung around his neck. Crowds formed almost immediately. Veterans of all ages came forward. Some shook his hand. Some asked for advice. Some just said, "Thank you." Captain Riley stood nearby, helping organize the line. He never introduced himself formally, just watched, quietly making sure no one interrupted too long. Even the security guard from before approached. Nervous. Hands tucked behind his back. "Sir," he said, voice low. "I owe you an apology. I didn't know." Nguyen didn't make him squirm. "You do now," he said, extending a hand. "That's what matters." The guard took it. Grateful, embarrassed, human. As the day went on, veterans sat with Nguyen, one by one. He listened, took notes, asked questions. He wasn't a speaker. He wasn't there to inspire. He was working. Late afternoon, a young man approached. Mid-20s. Tight haircut. Still had the Marine Corps in his walk. "You're the guy from the photo," he said. Nguyen nodded. "And you're the guy from today?" "I don't know what to do next," the kid admitted. "I got out last month. No plan." Nguyen opened his folder. "What's your name?" "Jake." "Okay, Jake, let's start your file." He slid a blank form forward, clicked his pen, and just like that, the quiet work resumed.